Every single week, I'm meeting teams that are doing AI. Most of them are not ready. This is not because the models are bad, but because their foundations are. If you're about to fund an AI project and you don't have the foundations ready, you're in the fast track to lose both time and money. So let's fix that right now. The first thing that we're going to go through, and now you're going to hear me say this in every single video, and it's you have to have a clear use case. If you don't have a clear use case for AI, for software, you're not going to have a good project. Your business is not ready to go. So what does this mean, right? How can we have a clear use case? Let me walk you through it. When we're actually starting to define use cases, we like to use the following framework, which is the 1 sentence, 2 numbers, and 1 constraint rule. What does this mean, right? 1 sentence. Be able to define your use case in 1 sentence. Who does what with which data to what outcome, right? Say it in 1 sentence. And I'll give some examples pretty soon. By 2 numbers, I mean, what target metric are you trying to hit? And then what's the timeline to hit that metric, right? Make sure you understand those 2. And again, I'll give you some examples soon. And then lastly, you also have 1 non-negotiable. The non-negotiable is basically a metric that when you're building or changing things up in your business cannot change. And again, I'll show you really quick what I mean. Okay, so let's get started. Imagine you're actually trying to automate customer support. A vague use case would be saying, hey, use AI to automate customer support. That doesn't work. Let's actually use the framework that we talked about. Another way to say this exact same goal and use case would be the following. Use AI to capture 25% of tier 1 customer chats, things like changing passwords, changing emails, over a 90-day period, while keeping customer satisfaction above 4.5 out of 5, and also make sure that escalation is under 5%. Right here, we talked about a timeline, 90 days. We talked about non-negotiables, customer satisfaction, escalation, right? But also we have a target metric. I say we want to keep those easy chats, those easy questions, and be able to use AI to capture those at a 25% rate, right? So that's the KPI. If you're able to say this and create this sort of structure for your use case, you're going to be ready to go. Okay, so before we go into the next step to make sure that your business is ready for AI, you might be asking, well, how do I find these use cases? How do I find these pain points? Fortunately for you, I made a video on how to find those exact use cases that would move the needle for your business. Take a look. Okay, so second thing you need to understand before you start a project, specifically with AI, right? And it's to make sure you're data ready, right? We see this all the time with customers. They're ready to go. They have a great use case. They have a great ROI case. They have the capabilities. They have the budget. They have the timeline and everything. But their data is not good. So what happens if your data is not ready? You know, to simplify it, oversimplify it, your project, your AI will be as trustworthy as the data that you have. If you don't trust your data, you won't be able to trust a software project, an AI that's telling you insights about that data. There's a saying in the AI community that it's garbage in, garbage out. If you train a person or an AI with bad data, you're going to get bad outcomes. It's that simple. What does even data mean, right? Like, data in this case really depends on your project. It can be anything from mapped out workflows to images to CSV files, databases, SQL databases. So let me share a framework with you so that we can understand what good data means and if your business is actually ready to start based on your data readiness. So let's go. So the framework that we have to figure out if your actual business is ready for prime time for AI implementations, it's actually pretty simple. You will understand what this framework means. It's called the data framework, right? See what we did there? So let's start with D, the first letter of data. It means discoverable, right? Discoverable means, can you actually find the required data to make this project happen? Can your people find that data? Can the owners find this data, right? If you cannot find the data to make this happen, then the AI won't be able to find it either, right? And well, what data do I know I need, right? So if you're trying to automate financial reports, you need to understand what are the inputs to normal financial reports? How are people accessing these inputs so that then they can transform them into financial reports, right? If people cannot find those, there's no way they can create reports, right? So find the data, make it discoverable. That's step number 1. Number 2, accurate. Okay, let's go to A. What does accurate data mean? Well, of course, accurate means it has to reflect real life, right? If you have bad data, you're going to have bad outcomes. If you say, if you're a finance company and you say you have trillions of dollars in management, that's probably false. So you need to fix that and make sure that your data reflects real life. Okay, so you have discoverable, you have accurate. Now T, date. T means timely, right? Is your data up to date? You might have accurate data of, 5 years ago, we had X amount of employees. If you have data that's outdated, you're going to have outdated insights, outdated outcomes. So make sure it's refreshed, it's up to date, and make sure that it reflects the current status of your business, of your project, of your services. So that's T, timely. And lastly, A again. So A stands for access controlled, which just means understand who has access to what, especially if you're in a regulated industry like finance or healthcare. If you know who has access to the data and who should have access to the data, then you also understand if AI should have access to it, right? And again, we go again to accurate, we go to discoverable. You need to give the right data to the right people, to the right AI systems. So just have that understanding of who should access what and why, right? You don't want to give AI personal health information unless you absolutely have to and you actually have a secure AI system. So make sure you have that ready. So that's it. That's data, right? Discoverable, accurate, timely, and access controlled. Okay, so real quick, 3 signs that you know if your data is not ready. 1, like I said, if you have a table and there's 5 different versions of customer ID in the columns and rows, there's not a single golden row that says customer ID, you have a problem. Second one, you integrate an LLM with your database and the LLM is contradicting your dashboards, right? Who's right? There's probably a data lineage problem here that you need to fix. And third, and I think this is really telling, is if your employee onboarding takes forever. That's a hidden sign. Why? Well, because if you're onboarding, I don't know, a data scientist, or you're onboarding a person that's doing financial reports, if you're onboarding a marketing person, if onboarding takes forever, because you have to explain to your employees where the data is, why you should use certain data and not other, why certain data is, named the same as another table, but the table is wrong. And in this situation, use this data instead of that one and try to combine everything together. If onboarding new employees takes forever, then implementing an AI project will take forever. Because think about it this way, implementing an AI copilot, an automation, that is basically like onboarding a new employee to your business. You have to explain everything that you're doing and then it will do it. But if you're not able to do that to your own employees right now, then that means you're not really ready for an AI project, unfortunately. But you can fix that based on, the data readiness assessment, the data framework that I mentioned. Next red flag on why your business is not ready for AI. And this is a big one. It's lack of internal capabilities, right? If you want to build a building, but you don't have an architect, you don't have an engineer, you can't build a building, right? That's simple. And if you're trying to, teaching people to do new things, great, right? But understand it's a learning experience and it'll take a little bit of time. Also, lack of internal capabilities also means lack of internal support, right? If somebody needs a training, if somebody needs to learn new things, if they need a certain tool, if there's no internal buy-in, that's not going to work, right? So make sure you have the right team, the right internal capabilities, or even external capabilities to make this happen. It's actually not just a skill issue, right? It's also having the right people in the right roles. So what does that mean? Let me get into that. AI is not just really something you set and forget. It's a living product. It's something that changes over time. So you need to have an owner for it, right? This is really the most important thing. Do you have an owner for this project? That's not just going to help during the build phase or the implementation phase, but also is going to keep taking care of it throughout its lifetime. And why is this important, right? Like AI changes, the business changes, people change, right? So you can't just hope that the AI is going to work perfectly every single time, right? If you created an AI to automate financial reports, your financial reports needs might change over time. And if nobody's owning this, it's just going to be, thrown away, put in the backlog because it's not exactly what you want. You need somebody who understands how it works, why we built it, and how we can change it, right? So have that product owner at least own it. It doesn't have to be a technical person, but someone that has this as their baby and really takes care of it over time. That's it. That's that easy. If you have that, you're ready to go. Your business is ready for implementation. So if you don't have the right team or you lack the internal capabilities, the internal bandwidth, right, you will have to hire eventually. So there's ways to fix this. You can hire third parties, contractors that are able to do this work for you, right? And as you hire them, you can have a hybrid procedure where, of course, contractor third parties own this project while it's being implemented, while it's being tested, and then slowly they hand it off to your team once those capabilities are filled. But if you don't understand, hey, where can I use software AI in my business? I have all these pain points. What can I use to solve it? We actually have an AI ideas generator. It's linked below, and is where you put just your pain points, and we'll give you ideas on how to use AI or software to solve them. Same thing, if you don't have the internal capabilities to build or do any of these things, we're here for you. There's also a link below if you want to take a call with us. Making sure you have the right ideas and the right team allows you to save money even before starting spending money. Having good, solid ideas on how you can use AI to fix problems in your business and actually talking to people who've done this before, it's going to really allow you to pressure test these ideas before you actually commit to doing anything big. So all the links are in the description below. Let's continue. The fourth thing that you need to look out for when evaluating if you're ready for AI is it's actually pretty surprising. It's politics. It's misaligned incentives. Politics will beat perfect AI, perfect implementation, perfect ROI. Politics will beat technology every single time. And it's not surprising, right? Companies are made out of people. And if people are not aligned in the incentives, if people are fighting for different things, if people are not pulling the same way, the project is going to fail. You're not ready for AI. So what does this mean? So you need to make sure everybody's pulling the same way. And of course, right now, everybody's really worried about their jobs. Everybody's really worried about how am I going to do? How is AI going to affect me, right? Is it going to give me more work? Is it going to give me less work? Especially employees. There needs to be an understanding that we're all pulling the same way, that we're doing projects for the right reasons, right? And then everybody's safe. There needs to be an understanding that any project that we do is going to benefit the company and it's going to fit the employees as well. We are here at AE big believers that AI is not replacing people, but it's going to make people superpowered people, essentially, right? And if everybody's in the same boat, if everybody understands, hey, I'm safe, I'm going to be a better person, have a better job, I'm going to be doing the things that I like because I'm delegating the really painful aspects of my job to AI, then it's going to be a great project and your business is ready. If people are afraid to lose their jobs to AI or to a project, if the project owner is fearful for his job if it doesn't get done correctly, if the CEO is expecting crazy things from AI that are not possible, you're going to have a bad time. You need to align on what's possible, why we're doing it, and that we're all pulling in the same direction. And just to be clear, it's not just about fear and rewards, but it's about aligning the political parts of the different departments within your company, right? If you're implementing, again, AI in a regulated industry, so meet with your teams, understand what are the requirements for them to, support this. And if they're good, we're ready to go. If not, ask where they are, why are they worried, how can we best align incentives? It's about communication. So even better, go back to step 1, meet with these people, and try to really understand what are the use cases that they will support. Go back to the 1 sentence, 2 numbers, 1 constraint. If it's legal and they're worried about the legal implications, make that a constraint. If it's IT and they're worried about deployment and scalability, make that a requirement. Make sure you define the project with everybody involved so that you're ready to go. So we've gone through 4 main points that you need to look out for to make sure that your business is ready for AI. How do I convert these 4 points into an AI readiness scorecard? How do I convert these insights to really understand, am I actually ready? Right, and it's very simple. For each one of those points, put a score between 1 to 5, right, for a total of 20 points. So how does this work, right? So point number 1, use case. Score it. Is it a great use case? 1 to 5. If it's a great case, 2 to 5. If it's a iffy case, it doesn't give you that much ROI, it's a 1. Second one, data. We went through the data process. We went through the data framework, right? Am I actually ready for this? If I am, put it as a 5. If your data is not very good, put it as a 1. Same again for the next one, internal capabilities. Do you have the right people in the right positions to make this happen? If so, put a 5. If not, put a 1, right? And if you're somewhere in between, 3, 4, that's okay. Everything's fair here. And then last one, internal alignment, internal politics. If you've seen a lot of infighting and people are not pulling in the same direction, put closer to 1. If everybody's really pumped about AI and about solving this problem together, put a 5. So add those up. If you have a perfect score, you'll have a 20. If you have a really bad score, you have a 4. Figure out where you are in this scale, right? If you're somewhere between 17 and 20, you're all ready to go. Go in, pilot an AI project. If you're between 12 and 17, go ahead, but go with caution. There might be some bumps in the road. And if you're lower than 13, take a step back, fix the issues we've identified, and then reevaluate. And once you're ready, you'll be able to go pilot an AI project with no problems. So that's it. That's the scorecard, right? Pretty easy, pretty simple. Go through this video. You understand what are the right steps to make sure you're ready for an AI implementation. Like I said, every single week, I meet founders, executives that think they're ready for prime time, but they just need a little bit of change in their business to make sure that whatever we build for them is ready to go, right? So make sure you follow these steps, you evaluate your business, and if you're ready, talk to us. So if you want to learn how to build successful, AI-driven, ROI-driving projects that move the needle for your business, keep watching. YouTube has the next video for you right here.